Yeah, so it's been a whirlwind really since we started the conversation, probably middle of 16. I was down here. My wife was doing a job interview, and so we were at the Lemon Bar trying to relax. And father-in-law asked me, said, "Hey, what do you want to do when you move down here?" And I said, I can work for a golf course. That would be one route. I said, but I'd honestly like to open up my own spot and have an indoor facility. And he looks at me with like a sort of odd look on his face, and he goes, "Tell me more." And I just told him that TrackMan was the first thing that I sort of thought of, and that's sort of the device that I wanted to use, and didn't really consider any other devices. And we started building the idea and getting the technology and the pieces together, and now we're here 4 years later. So it's really been a great experience, and I wouldn't trade it really for anything because I love it, and that's the biggest part of it. I love coming in that door and helping people with golf and just talking to people and getting to know people and building those relationships. That's the thing that I value the most about having this business, is the people I get to meet and how I get to help people enjoy golf.
That's awesome. Well, I remember when we did the walkthrough maybe 2 months ago. I just kind of showed the different bays. For me, it was a learning experience to come in for the first time, because you see it on Beach Boulevard. You drive by the sign. You guys are recognizable. It's not it's not a 50-year-old brand, but certainly one that's well known in the golf community. Something that a lot of people see. Like I said, talk a little bit about kind of the wide net of who really can enjoy this location.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I guess I'll take that because that's actually how Brian and I met, right?
Okay.
So I had just started playing golf seriously. I mean, outside of the beer games and stuff in college, or just heading to a driving range for an afternoon because you had nothing else to do. So I had started playing seriously, and I got to the point where I said, I have no idea how far I hit the ball. So I started Googling for launch monitors. How do I figure out my distances? And this place, Coastal Indoor Golf, pops up. And so I said, all right, let me go check this out. And I came in. My first day of coming in was October 1st, 2018. And so hang out with Brian, get to talking, and really understand what you can do here, which is, for somebody who's looking to improve their game. You want to be a better golfer. You want to, improve. You want to focus on some things. You can come in, you can practice, but even to the side of just playing a round of golf, getting outside of the heat, getting out of the rain, being able to play a round of golf, or have some close to the pin challenges, goofing around, and now even to the point where my young kids, we have birthday parties in here. I bring my kids in for lessons with Brian, and so over that time period, it's really looking at, how do we grow the game of golf, but how do we make golf fun for everybody, for all types, right? Make it available to everybody. It's not a stuffy country club, and it's not a full-out training center unless you want it to be, right? So it's golf how you want it. That's the way I see it.
That's a great way to put it, because I've come to two events now. We had the 904 guys in once, and then we just had a JU baseball event, and so to see really the offering between having lessons with you, like I remember at 904, one of our guys came in and you spent 3 minutes with him, and you could see the data. So the guys that are really trying to improve their game, you've got everything that you possibly need, and then down to a kids party.
It opens to everybody, and it's not just for the experienced golfer. I mean, and I think a lot of what we can provide to a lot of people is more saying, hey, if you're a beginner golfer and you're a visual learner, why not see yourself on camera and see your data? It almost helps you get better faster. And the analogy I use a lot with people is, in life, the more information you have, the better decisions you're able to make, whatever that may be. We're just doing that for golf. And I think the biggest asset of what we can do is, when you leave here, you're leaving with a tangible report that has video, that has data, that also has resources for you to look at what those data points mean. And when you leave a driving range anywhere else, you leave with an empty bucket. You might not take the bucket home with you, but that's what you're walking back to with, right. And you're just basing it off feels. And so this is where you're really able to get your baselines, see where you start, and track the progress of you learning and getting better and getting your distances. I think that's a big thing for a lot of people is how far do I hit the ball? It pays huge dividends when you know that, because you can then strategize on the course and you can help with your course management. There's tons of things that can help. Tons.
Well, I mean, even when we did that event with Rory McIlroy, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the number one things that Rory said was, for amateur golfers, what's the biggest thing that an amateur golfer needs to know? And he says, bring more club. He says most amateur golfers do not take enough club with them, to hit their next shot. Right? They're thinking they can hit it further than they do.
Huh.
And that's one of the biggest things is somebody pulls a 4-iron and says, well, yeah, I mean, Rory McIlroy hits this 235 yards carry, right? So can I. And it's not necessarily the reality. And getting the reality helps you play better not only in here, but when you're out there with your buddies, or in that member match, or even just having fun on a Sunday, you feel better when you're playing better.
There you go. Yeah. Well, we've touched on it a little bit, but let's get specific on what you guys offer here. I know there's a lot of different things, so let's talk about not only in-house, but also the mobile aspects of just what do we have available to the people that want to come in.
Yeah. We've got tons, and it might be a slightly long list, but the first thing is lessons. I mean, we can get you better at golf, and it's doing it a little different way. But I think the biggest thing is we're showing you the changes that we're making, and it's actually changing. It's not saying that doesn't feel that way. You actually see the numbers change. Club fitting, we've got TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway that we can fit you to. Fitted clubs are huge for golfers, just like foot orthotics. Jimmy's not going to wear the same foot orthotics as Pat or me. And that's sort of like the golf game, right? You need clubs for you. You don't need to try and fit your swing to a stock set off the shelf. I buy a new pair of shoes, might not feel great. Well, put our orthotics in there. Well, man, I'm all over the place. So, club fitting, lessons. We have leagues. We have junior camps. We have this game called Pin Seeker, which is about to really blow up, but it's closest to the pin competition that you can come in, hit 5 golf balls, and potentially make a little bit of money. So that's about to blow up, but tons of different things, and I might have missed a few. So Jimmy, if I missed a few, go for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, so from a capabilities in shop in the bays, right? We're using TrackMan technology, and we're using Foresight Sports technology. Those launch monitors. Those launch monitors are arguably the two that are tied for the best in the world, right? I mean, that's if you're looking at a PGA Tour event and you're watching them on the range and you see those little boxes next to them, right? One of them's a Foresight GC Quad. We have that here. The other one is the TrackMan, right? And that's behind them, the little orange square that's behind them, right? So same exact technology that the pros are using. The software that goes with that, we have over 200 different golf courses that you can play. We have the ability to do longest drive competitions. Brian already touched on closest to the pins. So the options are endless. But what we've also done is we've taken that technology and made it to where we can take it on the road. All right, so we formed a company or a group underneath the umbrella of Coastal that we call Party Anywhere. All right, and so the idea is to take the launch monitors, the bays, everything that you see here, that same look and feel, and be able to bring it to your corporate event, bring it to your birthday party, your retirement party, even a wedding. I mean, we've had that, right? Some of the things that we do outside of that is, on the mobile side as well, is fundraising events. Fellowship Christian Athletes, we've raised a significant amount of money with them together, doing closest to the pin competitions. The Tim Tebow Foundation, right? We did a longest drive comparison side by side for their actual golf tournament. So very, very cool things that we can do. It's very versatile. So there's a lot that can be done.
And there's hourly. I mean, I know you can just come in and come in on a whim. You can make reservations. You can do memberships. Yeah. There's parties. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can come in.
Yeah, that's a great point. So if you're the one-off, I want to do something on a Saturday, and I got some of my buddies, or even a Tuesday night, right? You come in, get a bay rental. In the evenings it's $50 an hour. Before that, before 4 p.m. it's $40 an hour for the bay, and that's for the bay, not per person, right? So come in with 3-4 of your buddies, or your girlfriends or kids or whatever you'd like to do. It's $40 or $50 for that bay. Now, if you're going to come in more often, right, you really like the field and you want to play more, or you want to work on your game, we have memberships, anywhere from $50 to $150 a month that it gives you hours already built into that membership package, and then discounts and deals and everything on the rest of all of those services that we've already talked about.
Yeah, and I can imagine, we're just coming into June, so I assume, kind of spikes a little bit with the heat and all that. I mean, not calling out any outdoor other facilities or anything like that, but gotta imagine when the heat of the summer comes out and you've got bugs and humidity and heat and afternoon rainstorms, it seems like a pretty good place to come in.
Yeah, and we have seen a gradual uptick in frequency during the summer. We see a slightly older crowd coming in during the summer just because they can't be out in the heat for extended period of times. But we also see the guy that wants to get solid practice in and not be interrupted by the afternoon shower.
Right.
I mean, we've got mini tour players that come in and practice when TPC's full and they've got an event. They come here. They want to get their numbers and they want to get all the data sent to them. And that's the beauty of what we have.
The data is incredible. Like I said, when the first time I had come through, maybe the second time, but I was looking at someone else was in. We had a bay rented, I guess, for 904, and I was watching another guy. And the speed, club speed, the ball rotation, like all these different things. I mean, talk about just the data that you guys can provide and what that can do for your game. Because, like you said, for an amateur, just going out there hacking it up and like, I shot well or I didn't play well today, but you don't know how to improve.
Yeah, so TrackMan has a handful of great data points, actually 29 to be exact. So 29 data points that are recorded on every swing. Now, the beautiful thing about TrackMan is maybe it doesn't get the club data. Well, TrackMan knows that it's not going to give you a number unless it 100% knows what that data point is. So it's not just guessing. There's no guessing in here. It's more, this is what's going on, and this is the data that we see. We also have Body Track. So Body Track is a pressure mat where we're able to show you visually where the weight in your feet are. Are they in your toes? Are they in the heels? What kind of trace do you have? That helps a lot for visual learners because I can tell you all day that your weight's in your back foot. But if you can't feel it or you can't see it, you're not going to believe me that weight is in that spot. So, the Body Track, the TrackMan, the Quad, I mean, you're getting a lot of solid data. And the beautiful thing is, too, it's not just with full swings. I mean, we can come in here, we can put it on your putting green, and putting is 45% of golf. Right. So we can help you in all aspects of your game, not just full swing. I mean, chipping, pitching, we can do most of it.
But Pat, I think having those 29 data points as somebody who's never been in before, or maybe as amateur golfer, they might be intimidated by the fact like, what's a smash factor? I get spin, the ball's spinning, right? But my club path, my face to path, you're throwing all these data points at me. I think the important part about that is that Brian and Skylar, myself, our guys here in the shop, we're not just letting you have this data point without you knowing what's going on. We help educate, hey, this is what that means, right? You get out on the course or even at a driving range and you're hitting that ball and you get this big slice and you're like, man, I'm slicing that ball. What does that even mean? You're Googling stuff and you're like, why slice? And they're saying, well, your face is open to your path.
Right.
Well, we can actually back that up with the data and then give you tips and tricks here and there as to how to close that face to that path and things to think about, right? So, data is great, but data is useless unless you know what to do with it, and that's where we come in is helping that amateur golfer or even professional golfers.
It's kind of like when you get sick and you WebMD something and you find out you have like 30 other things, right?
Yeah,
kind of same thing. Like, why am I slicing? Oh my God, I have 20 other things wrong with me.
For those of you at home, if you start Googling why am I slicing and all that, turn off your internet, right?
Yeah, because you'll get more confused looking at videos. That's just what I've seen. Like people come to me and say, "Man, I was just checking out this video on YouTube on how to slice. Man, they're telling me to do this, and then they're telling me to do this." And I mean, I didn't slice it, but I don't feel comfortable.
Right.
It's not repeatable. And so that's where, myself, Jimmy, Skylar, everybody, we come in and we're helping you educate on what those data points mean, how to move them, how to adjust those data points.
Right.
And that's the beauty of TrackMan, just knowing what's going on. That's the beauty of it.
So a few more things that I don't want to get lost in the conversation, because we're focusing on the data and improving as a player. But talk a little bit about, you had mentioned how many courses, I forget how many courses.
Over 200.
Over 200 courses. So talk about, you can actually come in and play a round of golf. It's not just hitting it into the mat and long drive and stuff. You can actually come in and play golf.
Yeah, so I think this is one of the coolest things, right? I mean, I get so excited. And so just this past Sunday, right, PGA Championship is at Kiowa. It's at the Ocean Course. And so we had a members party where, we brought in food, and a couple of the members, we got together and we threw the Ocean Course up, and we're playing it at the same time that Brooks and Phil are going, right? Hole one. Okay, can we play it better than them, right? And so we do that a lot. We have a lot of fun with that. And there's courses out there that, Pebble Beach. We have Pebble Beach, right? To fly out to Pebble Beach, to stay at Pebble Beach, you're talking a couple $1,000s for this trip to go play Pebble. Well, for $40, you can come in here and play the full course.
Okay.
Sure, you don't get the wind in your face, but I'll turn on a fan for you. But so it's really incredible, the courses that are out there, how they look, how they feel, how they play, and then even from a course management side, I've done this where I was going to go play Bay Hill in a tournament. I'd never looked at Bay Hill, never seen that, and I said, let me throw it on the TrackMan. Play it and let me see how the holes play before I even get down there, right? And so now I'm going, oh yeah, I remember this hole. I need to take 3-wood, not driver from here, right? And let me put it over there by that trap, right? So it's cool. It's really, really cool.
And the courses are actually mapped with LiDAR. So a drone flies over the course and literally gets every undulation, every little nuance that course designer sort of put into that course. It then is put into TrackMan. So courses like St. Andrews, Muirfield Village, Quail Hollow, Sweetens Cove. That's a good one. If you haven't heard of Sweetens is a very unique course in Tennessee. But those are just a few that we have, and it's really cool to say, man, I was able to play that course and sort of have a slight experience of what it would be like to play some of the courses that I never thought I'd be able to play.
Right. So I mentioned the 904 group came in. You've mentioned charity things. So we had the JU baseball thing. You can come in and rent the whole facility for however long you want. And what I loved about that is, like you said, you had different things up. So some of the things you mentioned, we had longest drive, we had close to the pin. So talk about the facility rentals and how that all works.
Yeah. So full facility rental, right? I mean, we can shut the door just for your party, for your event. It could be an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, however long you'd like to do that. We can schedule those, later in the evenings, earlier in the mornings, however you'd like to have that event set up and that event time for your guests, right? But we have 4 bays here right now, and so those 4 bays we can set up with games like closest to the pen on one. We could do longest drive on another. We could, even for the kids, we've done glass break, where they're hitting the ball into a glass house. They're not allowed to do it at home, so give them an outlet, right? Carnival games, and balloon or the dart game where you're trying to pop the balloons, and all kinds of games and things that you can do. Or we could set it up to where you've got all of them are playing a course, and you've got your entire group is like a foursome or a 8 or 16, 24 people going out to play a golf course, but you're all side by side, right? And then we have beer and wine here as well, which that adds a little bit of spice to the mix, right? You can kick back. The cart girl, you never have to wait on the beverage cart to get around because it's right there. That's a great part of the facility rentals. One of the other things that we just recently did is we started to incorporate soccer. And so we actually had a birthday party here, 2 parties now, 1 birthday, 1 full soccer team, where we set up golf on 3 of the bays. And then on the one day where we have soccer, we set up where they're able to do penalty kicks and passing and corner kicks and really enjoying the soccer aspect. And not to talk too much on this, but I think one of the best parts about that is that Brian, when he's teaching, likes to talk to people about the other sports that they play to try and incorporate how can that translate into your golf swing. And so, I've seen him take the soccer and translate it over into a lesson, into how the body movement is to help you with your golf swing. So it's pretty cool.
That's great. So, opened in 2017?
May 24th, 2017 was our first day of being open.
There you go. So you guys have come a long way. What's coming next? What are the big plans, the big vision for Coastal?
Yeah, well, we're excited. So we want to get into more sports, right? Ultimately, we love golf, but we also know that a lot of people out there don't really know about golf, or they're not accessible for golf, right? And so we have the ability to expand into other sports, other simulated sports. So we're going to be expanding into about 3 times the size of this unit here. We're going to triple our space, and we're going to add 13 different sports to the simulations. Be able to do some baseball, some football, soccer, hockey, lacrosse. Even some in there that I don't even know about, right? I mean, cricket is an option, but
can't forget about cricket.
It's not one of my big sports. And then one of my favorites, for the kids is zombie dodgeball, right? I mean, that's going to be a pretty cool one in there. And the idea around that is providing more of an accessible space, for all the things we've already talked about around all those other sports. But also, it helps grow the game of golf, right? So staying true, to our core around the golf side, but bringing people in and they're enjoying the other sports and that they get the ability to play golf as well.
There you go. But no, it's been great getting to know you guys and just seeing the application. Like I said, to come in and see guys that are obviously in here getting work done, focusing, getting lessons, trying to get better, down to kids kicking soccer balls and really everything in between. So if you've not come in and you've driven by on Beach Boulevard 100 times and never stopped in, these guys are great. We've got a promotion coming up this month where we're going to be doing some giveaways and chances to come in and do it on 904 time. So Jimmy, Brian, I appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Yeah, appreciate that.